Welcome to the Dagoboys, Side Escape Star Wars themed podcast. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined by my trusty co-pilot and the leader of the Bad Batch himself, Hunter Phillips. Hunter, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jake. How are you?
Are you excited for our first episode of a Star Wars podcast?
I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Me too. We were playing Call of Duty Warzone the other night, and we started just going on a Star Wars rant. Oh my god, it was fantastic. Yeah. It was great. It made me so excited for this show. Also, I got to ask you a question. We're about to talk about the episodes of the Bad Batch, first one and second one. Mm-hmm. How does it feel having a Star Wars character with your name?
Oh, it's great. Finally, I've been saying for years I used to be a hunter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And now there is.
Now there is.
Like him or not, he's in the show.
Everybody likes him.
Because today we're going to take you across the galaxy, from Coruscant to the Outer Rim, from the Republic to the Resistance, to talk to you about why we love Star Wars, and about our main topic today. As we said, it is the first two episodes of The Bad Batch. Episode 1, which was called Aftermath, and Episode 2, which was called Cut and Run.
Cut and Run.
So, Dangar dudes and Calrissian gals, sit back, and let's talk about this galaxy far, far away that we love. Our show today is sponsored by the Kamino cloning facility, but more on that later. We'll get to our ad break later, where Hunter will read an ad by the Kaminoans themselves. Lama Su, their prime minister.
Yeah.
He's got a long neck.
They all have long necks.
But I want to start somewhere first. I want to start talking about a planet, Hunter. And I asked you to pick me a planet, and we're just going to talk briefly about it. Maybe it's an important planet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. What planet have you chosen for us today?
Well, when you think of, the favorite Star Wars faction, people always think of Rebels. They think of the Empire.
Right.
They think of the Resistance.
Do they?
Everybody's real favorite faction is the Techno Union.
The really poorly animated people in Attack of the Clones.
Nothing cooler than those dudes on Segways with their long skirts.
Right.
With the cool bottle glasses. Mm-hmm. They're pretty sweet.
Oh, they're terrible.
And they're not great. They're not great. But their home planet is cool. Okay. Skako Minor.
Why is it cool?
We don't see a lot of it.
Okay.
We see it in, season 7 of Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, that was the Bad Batch episodes, right?
Bad Batch episodes when Echo gets caught by the Separatists, right?
Yeah, he's running their whole strategic system.
Yeah, and it's
very cool.
I just think it's a cool planet.
Yeah, it was.
It's got cool wildlife.
Very true.
Cool droids.
And it starts the Bad Batch, which we're going to talk about.
The Bad Batch.
You didn't even plan that.
I didn't at all.
And that's impressive.
That works pretty well.
That was so what is it called? Skako Minor?
Skako Minor.
Skako Minor. Folks, put that one in your Rolodex. Go take a visit,
Rolodex.
Yeah, because in Star Wars they're still in the 70s, so they're still using Rolodexes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't have Google contacts.
No,
they're Rolodexing it.
Stuck in the 70s.
Now, before we talk about our main topic, we're going to jump into our ad break. We are sponsored by the Kamino.
All right.
Well, yeah, because normally we're going to have a news section in the show.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Star Wars news to talk about. Mm-mm. Also, we could talk about the Disneyland park. They made retractable lightsabers. We'll see how they actually work when they're released.
Sound very cool, though.
Yes.
Sound very cool.
It's not?
No, it sounds very cool.
Oh, it sounds very cool. Yeah. I thought you said it's not very cool.
Mumbling, but yeah.
But no, it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More on that later.
More on that later.
This episode of the Dagoboys podcast is sponsored by the what was it?
Kamino cloning facility.
Kamino cloning facility. Mm-hmm. Ever needed another you? Maybe an army of Boba Fett's dad? Or to be a clone plot device to close out a saga?
That's a Rise of Skywalker reference.
Got it. The Kamino clone facility has got you covered. After the Imperial Reign of Terror, Kamino's Prime Minister Lama Su took the galaxy's criticisms to heart. Now Lama Su is sticking his neck out for you, the everyday citizen. And he has quite the neck.
It's a long one.
No more imperial entanglements. Say that 5 times fast.
Imperial entanglements. God damn it. Okay.
No more war. It's the new and improved Kamino clone facility where we put the me in Kamino.
Boom. Okay. That's our first sponsor. Thank you. Yeah. We're going to make up a Star Wars themed ads for every episode. So
thank you to the Kamino cloning facility for sponsoring this podcast.
And primarily Lama Su, And I think that fits perfectly what we're talking about today. We are talking about the Bad Batch, the new Star Wars show on Disney+. Hunter, you're a big Clone Wars fan.
Yeah.
You're a big Rebels fan. I want to talk to you about first the animated properties.
Okay.
Because you were the one that kind of told me I needed to start watching them.
Yeah.
And I did. Watch them all. I enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. Say there's a lot of filler for my taste.
Yes, there are.
What did you think of the first? Let's start with just Aftermath, and then we can talk about Cut and Run.
Okay.
So what did you think of the first episode of The Bad Batch? 75 minutes.
The animation is amazing.
Yes.
That was such a good-looking episode.
Yeah.
And when it opens up on that planet, it has a little bit of snow, some trees, some rocks. So cool.
We are going to spoil the episode, because it's the first time you and I have ever talked about it, so I want to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The animation's insane.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it was, I remember looking back, Clone Wars, it got progressively better, you know. And then season 7 came along, and this is kind of similar animation to that.
The lighting effects are like way better than even just Rebels.
Yeah.
Like how they've done lighting, and like I remember the shot in the final season of Clone Wars of like Obi-Wan with the lightsaber in like the dust, and like, wow, they can like really edit some nice lighting, and that's just kept improving through the first episode of the show and second as well.
No, it's beautiful when like, I mean, like, because the first few seasons of Clone Wars, like the hair it didn't move with wind or anything.
No.
But like in this opening episode, like everything's like the cloaks are moving, individual hairs are moving, the lightsabers look amazing. You can tell like it has like the backlight and all that.
Yeah,
so cool.
I want to talk about that. You said lightsabers. The best part of this whole first episode is the fact that it's Kanan.
Yeah, that was the cool. At first, I was like Caleb, like where do I remember that? Like Caleb, and I was like, shit, that's Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah, Kanan Jarrus. Yeah,
yeah.
Because Caleb Dune.
Yeah, so cool.
Dude, when it was the minute he walked up with his master, I was like, oh my god, it's Kanan. I was like, this is his origin story on how like he.
The only thing that was really weird is like he's a teenager at this point, right? Or not a teenager, but he's like a younger guy.
But he's voiced by Freddie Prinze
His voice is
Jr.
like 40-year-old, like.
It's the same guy that voices him in Rebels.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr. still.
It just it sounded very out of place.
Yeah,
it was so cool to see him. I mean, it was really
It was really cool, and it was cool to see like his start to the journey we saw in Rebels, but just before.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
and I liked. I want to talk about the characters because I don't know if I'm sold on all of the Bad Batch.
Okay.
But I like the idea of like Hunter starting to like still realize like, okay, there's something wrong with the situation of Order 66, and and I like that he learned that through like the event with Kanan. So it's like this same moment is like really influential for the two leads of two shows. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Totally.
What do you think of the 5 members of the Bad Batch? Or I guess 6, but we'll talk about.
Yeah. I like them a lot. The only thing that like everybody has their own special talent, right? The one that I don't get is the clones are made to be like military specialists, right? That's the whole point of the clones. They're supposed to be very good at all military things.
Yeah.
What's the point of Crosshair? He can just shoot really well.
He's just a sniper.
But like,
just a marksman. That's
such a lame thing compared to like Tech, who knows all this cool stuff, or Wrecker, who's super strong. Like, he just shoots really well.
He just got a really good shot.
I would say Crosshair is my least favorite, and I think he's climbing up that ladder because of his development throughout this episode.
Yeah, so that I think it was really fun because watching the episode with Crosshair and Hunter arguing about Order 66, and with the chip still kind of working in his mind but not fully, so he's like questioning the order but still believing it.
Well, so that's what I also want to talk about is, so the Bad Batch they were the first kind of experimental clones, right?
That's, I guess, what they've said, yeah. Or like errors in cloning.
And they have like more like, independent thinking and all that. So they had the inhibitor chips, right? Mm-hmm. But why did Crosshair's work like nothing, or work, perfectly, but then like everybody else's was kind of working, or like Hunter's just like what's happening,
So I kind of took it that maybe because they're like deformed in their brains and like they're different, that it like mapped over the chips, like it was programmed just for Jango's.
Okay.
That's like how I justified it.
But I was thinking about it too, about how, if they were the first kind of test clones, maybe they were also working out the inhibitor chips, and they all had the same inhibitor chip, but it was just that Crosshairs happened to work.
Yeah.
So.
And his wasn't fully operational until they put him in like the CT scan thing. They like enhanced the inhibitor chip.
Yeah.
I thought what was really cool about the episode is the whole time I was watching it, and that something is obviously gonna happen with Crosshair at the end. But I liked I didn't care if he was either good or bad. I was like, it's gonna be cool no matter what. He can be a great antagonist, or this could be a really interesting dynamic that he knows that this is wrong, but he still kind of agrees with the Imperial Army.
Yeah.
And so I think it was really satisfying to have him be now the antagonist of the show.
Totally.
I think that's really cool.
One of the Bad Batch splintering off and becoming the bad guy. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I thought that was really cool. My take on the characters, I want to see how much more they develop them. I like them a lot better here than I did in the 4 episodes we got of them in the Clone Wars.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
I did not like them.
Really?
I thought they were way too over the top.
Okay.
And we're just badass for being badass.
Yeah.
And I like that there's a lot more character here in their show, obviously, but you start to see the human nature of them, and I I enjoy who Hunter is, but also where are we going with this story? And I know it's about Omega, and we'll talk more about Omega in a minute, but he's got to have some more like an interesting character development rather than just being always the good guy.
Which is what Omega's going to kind of...
Yeah, and like for me, I'm a big fan of The Last of Us. We talk about it a lot on this gaming podcast, but like the story kind of reminds me of like Joel and Ellie and like Hunter and Omega. He like
being thrown into his parent role.
Yeah,
and
I think that's why the second episode didn't work for me at all.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that. I'll get there, but like their dynamic needs to be built up more before I care about it.
Yeah,
and I think the show. I'm just jumping into 2 now, episode 2. The show expects me to already really care about Omega and Hunter. And so in Cut and Run, when he's like gonna leave Omega and like put her on the other ship,
there wasn't a lot of impact there.
No, I was like, all right, that makes sense. Like he's known this girl for 15 minutes. He's like, fucking get out of here.
Yeah, there wasn't. I think they wanted it to be a big emotional scene where you're like, oh, he's setting her loose. Like they're done. But it didn't have that because we've had, I guess the first episode was 75 minutes, but we didn't have a season or however long.
3 episodes. Like this was the second one.
We had 30 minutes of screen time with them together kind of thing. And it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
So I get what they were going for. It wasn't executed poorly.
No.
It just wasn't to its fullest extent.
It felt way too early.
Yeah.
Like that for me, that was I think the problem was like the second episode felt like it should have been the 5th episode.
There should have been that scene of him saying, "Hey, you got to go," should have been halfway through the season or
yeah. Because there's like in The Last of Us, there's like a pivotal moment where Joel's like, "I'm done with you, Ellie." Like,
yeah.
And that's like such like strong emotion carried through that scene that like this scene had nothing on it.
Because that's after hours of gameplay and you know the characters and you get to learn them.
And this was just like, I don't care about either of these people yet because I'm learning them.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's just we'll talk more about the second
episode. Who's your favorite Bad Batch person?
I really liked Wrecker.
Okay.
I surprisingly thought he was just like, he was the character I thought I was going to hate the most.
See, he was my least favorite in Clone Wars Season 7.
Yeah. I thought he was better in this.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I actually really liked Crosshair.
I think Echo is still my favorite just because it was so, again, Season 7, when you see him, that he's still alive and they're finding him, it's just so hype when he comes back.
Yeah.
And he's like...
I didn't realize that he was going to be part of the Bad Batch until the show started, and I was like,
really?
Oh, that's Echo.
Yeah.
I didn't like put in my head.
It's like, so cool. I think it's so cool that he's like, he's back and he's such a cool character with his little like R2-D2 little probe thingy, whatever it is.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. He is a fun character.
Yeah.
I want to talk, the standout for the first episode was that whole arena fight.
Yeah.
Where I thought like having Tarkin come in and evaluate Kamino and like, are the clones worth it? Mm-hmm. Which was really cool seeing him in Clone Wars, him like being kind of really against the clone army already.
Yeah.
And there's a great subtle line that I love when they do this in Star Wars and they point out the fact that stormtroopers can't shoot. Mm-hmm. And like, I think it's Lama Su or one of the Kaminoans. Kaminoans? There we go. There it is. That's the one. One of the Kaminoans. And she like says something along the lines of like, well, if you don't have like clones, like they're not going to be as well trained and won't be able to shoot as well. And he's like, that's all right. And I was like, they point at the fact that like stormtroopers can't shoot again.
This dude just hates clones.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And then that arena fight where they switched to live ammunition and their guns stopped working.
Awesome. It was really cool.
The knife thing, the move where he puts up the knife and it gets shot.
That was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was so sick.
Like it started and I knew it was going to happen. I was like, this is going to be cool.
I didn't at all.
And then it happened. I was like, this is really fucking cool. This is awesome.
I totally thought he was just going to throw the knife and he threw it up and shot it. That was the coolest thing.
So cool.
It was so sick.
Yeah. And I thought that scene played really well and you really got to like understand their dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's why it was really kind of heartbreaking when Crosshair like came out.
Yeah.
Shooting at, like fully coming and taking shots at him.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Omega. I feel like that's kind of...
Okay. Yeah.
The 5th Bad Batch member, which I thought was a very cool little play and twist where like Echo's not the 5th member, which makes sense. Well, how do you feel about a female clone of Jango Fett? Is that what we assume?
So I don't know. So I thought it was... The way I see Omega is, one, I think it's really cool because have we had an Australian Star Wars character before?
I don't think so.
I think it's really cool that she has an Australian accent. I think it's awesome.
Yep.
The way I saw Omega is, I think she's Force sensitive.
Okay, that's my theory.
So I think she is. It's Palpatine because Lama Su or somebody says that Palpatine's always been really supportive of the Kamino and cloning efforts. So I think it's that.
This is my exact theory. I think.
Yeah. So that Palpatine is trying to figure out how to make an actual either Force sensitive army or so that he can clone himself, so that he does the essence transfer.
Yep.
So I think she is the first. I don't know if she's Jango Fett clone. I think she might just be a random clone. but that she's the first successful Force-sensitive clone that they've done.
Yeah, because they did say in the first episode she has heightened awareness.
Well, and like that's why like when her and the robot are in the Bad Batch's like dorm room, and then she's like, "Oh, we got to go!" Like they're coming.
She knows, yeah.
Or when at near the end of the episode, when she shoots Crosshair's gun, and she's like, "I've never shot a gun before. I've never picked one up." Mm-hmm. So she's obviously Force sensitive.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way she isn't.
And this is I really hope that twist, which it's going to be played as a twist, because this show is still for kids sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I hope that twist isn't like at the very end of the show or like 2 seasons in. Like let's get that like in the first 5 episodes. Now, if she is Force sensitive, does it feel a lot like The Mandalorian? Where like this guy, this armored man is escorting a Force sensitive child while the Empire hunts him down? Because I got really vibes of like, this could become really similar to The Mandalorian.
I hope it isn't, because like this is such a cool period of time where we haven't really seen a lot of, if any, of the, maybe there's like comics and books and all that. But we haven't seen like this period of time right after Order 66 when the stormtroopers are fully on, or the clone troopers became stormtroopers more or less.
We're seeing that transition.
Yeah, and we haven't ever seen this part of the Star Wars history before.
No, it was so cool to watch the Emperor Palpatine speech.
Right?
From the clone's perspective.
Yes. When he's in the Senate chambers or whatever, and he's saying, like, the attack has left me scarred. And blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
I hope it doesn't turn into just a parallel to Mandalorian, where it is just like an escort thing where he's like, hey, we got to protect her, blah, blah, blah. I hope there's a different kind of payout to it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm just, the way that the second episode played made me a little concerned that, this might be Mandalorian-esque.
But how cool is it that they brought back Cut or whatever that guy's name is, after he was what, in 2 episodes of the Clone Wars?
Okay, so I totally forgot about him.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's why when he came out, I was like, I know that he's probably someone from Clone Wars.
So
but
he was, it was the arc of Clone Wars where Grievous crash lands on that planet, whatever.
Yeah, I forget what they're...
Sakulama or something weird like that.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Grievous crash lands. And then Rex and Obi-Wan and the clones go after him. Rex takes like 3 people to go find him. He gets shot in the chest. And then they have to like nurse him back to health. But they find this farm, and they bring him there. Like, hey, can we use your barn? Can we heal my friend? And then they see that Cut is a clone. They're like, you're a deserter? Like how could you be a deserter? What are you doing here? You have to help us out. How could you abandon your brothers like that? So and then we meet Cut and his family.
Okay.
But they were pretty much more or less like a throwaway kind of like, it was 2 episodes or 3 episodes, and then we didn't see him at all. So I thought it was really cool they brought him back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love that they threw out Rex's name too. That Rex had been there and kind of insinuated that he was with Ahsoka, which was cool. Oh. Yeah.
I didn't even,
because he said he was with someone else.
That's okay. So...
And he's talking about the inhibitor chips. So
I thought by this point, I guess this is right after Order 66. So
yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
It's like days.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And I'm like I said, I'm curious to see where this goes because there is such interesting territory of Star Wars that hasn't been talked about. Mm-hmm. So like the transition of clones to stormtroopers is like a mystery. We don't really know. We just know that eventually Han Solo is going to walk into a facility and he's going to be like, I want to be a pilot, best in the galaxy. And he's like, who are your people? And Han Solo goes, I never had any. And the guy goes, so some would say you're Solo then? And he goes, that's my last name. And that's just like, that's eventually going to happen, God,
what a cool way to explain a backstory.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
It's just so Star Wars,
It is, yeah.
Yeah, he can't just be Han Solo.
No. He's Han.
Solo, huh?
But it is. But that's the closest...
Fucking dumb.
That's the closest to this period that we've had is Solo.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm kind of curious to where we get, as much as my joke was a joke, but like how to get to where Solo is, where like Corellia's, guarded by the Empire, like so scrutiny. Yeah. They have the chain codes, which they were giving every citizen in the galaxy a number.
Very cool.
Thought that was cool.
I really like that line of Echo, or somebody says like, it's funny how the clones were numbers and they really fought hard to get their own names. And now we're seeing all these people with names, and now they're trying to get their numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really cool.
I thought that was really parallel in it. And I'm curious how far, because we know we're going to see Rex in the show. It's in the trailer. Rex is there.
Yeah.
How far, are we going to go with Rex, and is he going to be on his own mission to, take down the inhibitor chips or, save more clones?
Yeah.
Because he has to get his little squad that he has in Rebels. Mm-hmm. So.
Do we know how long Bad Batch is going to be? Is it a 1-season thing? Is it?
I think it's multiple. I think it's multiple seasons.
Okay.
But I don't think they've said
No,
it's
no.
X, but I don't think it's just one.
Okay.
Yeah, because they've said it's like the new animated show.
Got
so
it,
I think we'll have it for a while.
Which I'm okay with. I mean, also, how cool is that intro where it says the Clone Wars and then it like burns
Fades
away
away.
the Bad Batch? That was awesome.
And I loved that the first episode started with the Clone Wars like war like voice.
So, did you hear about that guy?
No.
His name is like Tim Kaine or Tom
Yeah,
Kaine.
Tom Kaine.
I guess he had a stroke in December. That was his last piece of voice acting for Star Wars. I think he made it through the stroke, but he can't talk the same way he did. So that was like his like last. That was like one. It was a kind of like a we're merging, so it's Clone Wars to like Bad Batch, but also it was kind of like a send off to Tom Kaine.
That's so cool because I was gonna say it's really cool that the show doesn't start with that anymore because it's a different show. But now it's really sad that maybe it would have started with that if he didn't go through the stroke.
I mean, I think also it might have been fully the intention just to do that first episode, so it's connected, and then not do it again. But also, he
wow.
Yeah,
that's sad.
I know.
Yeah.
I really liked his voice. His voice is awesome.
Oh, it's cool. I love the like war.
It blew my mind when like watching Clone Wars the first time. I was like, I love the narrator's voice, and then it's Admiral Yularen. I thought it was so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. So I'm curious to see where this Bad Batch show goes. But like I said, like this for me, the second episode was kind of pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool. I still enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the first one. Also, it's because the first episode was 75 minutes and this was 30.
Yeah, and the first episode was too long, to be honest, in my opinion. But
so you were saying, because you watched it before I did, and you were saying just, hey, heads up, the first half is kind of slow, but it really picks up. It was kind of slow, but I was still like enthralled and I still wanted to watch it. Like, I don't think it was like slow, No,
I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't think it was like terribly slow, but like once the Order 66 stuff happened, I was like, okay, I get what we're doing here. Like, what's this show about? And we're just kind of putting around, like, clones are getting canceled, and I'm like, okay.
I guess it was kind of weird to, like, start off in such, like a fast beat with, like, Order 66 happening and Depa Balapa, whatever her name is, getting killed. And then it goes to Kamino, and it's kind of
like,
slower.
For me, that was really slow.
And then it picks up again. So it was kind of disjointed in a way.
After that, when they go and meet Saw Gerrera.
Oh, I forgot he was in there.
Yeah, I know, right. So much stuff happened in that first episode. When they meet Saw Gerrera on the planet, and, like, Crosshair has the moment of like, wait, no, we got to kill these people like still.
Like,
and I was like,
shot, yeah.
Okay, cool. They're either gonna split this group up or like they're gonna take Crosshair with him, and he's like not about it. Like, in either way, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm definitely curious, but I'm like, you got to sell me on why this Omega person's important because right now I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I
think we're right, by the way. I think you're 100% right about what she is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else she would be.
No, no, I don't either.
I don't. Oh, the other thing about Omega is, so she knows about the inhibitor chips. Is that because she's force sensitive, or is that because she works with the Kamino?
I think it's because she works with them.
Okay, because I was talking to my other friend Grant about it, and we were talking about like, if she can sense the inhibitor chips, why couldn't the Jedi?
Yeah, no, I think it's because she was like medical and she was working on tech and stuff. Yeah,
their right hand man. Yeah,
that's kind of what I took it as.
But I mean, I don't dislike her. I do like her, and I like how she's not just like there to be there. Like she's doing stuff in the second episode. She's doing things that she shouldn't be doing, stowing away on the plane, on the ship.
That was a good moment.
It was like, oh, that's a great plan, but Omega's on it. Like, what? Or she's taking the chain codes.
Yep.
So I like that they're just like, they're having her do stuff and progress the story.
Oh yeah.
But I do hope she becomes more of a,
I just want to know what she's about. My one theory was before I realized that Omega was a girl. When I was like, hey, I have a theory on who this was, I was like, I think I know who he is. And you texted me and you're like, pretty sure it's a girl. And I was like, that destroys my entire theory. I was going to be like, I wonder if he's the clone of Palpatine.
That becomes.
And then that's Rey's dad.
Yeah. Which honestly isn't a bad theory.
Be really cool, but it's not.
It's not. She's a big girl.
Yeah, no, Omega is a girl now. But before I knew that.
What do you think the significance was of, because halfway through the second episode, she takes off her little headdress thing and then she never puts it back on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was that kind of weird?
Yeah, it was. I have no idea why.
Is that her saying, like, I'm not going back to Kamino? Because is that like a Kaminoan thing, or is that like a...
I think, did it correlate with when they all took off their armor?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
But I wonder if that's kind of what it is. They all took off like their armor and become like a different
maybe
family or whatever. I think is kind of what they were
could be
going for.
Cool.
No. I'm curious where the show goes. I'm excited. I'm optimistic.
So far,
Yeah.
It's better than I thought it was going to be, because I'm kind of with you where when we first see Bad Batch in season 7, it's kind of like, these guys are super over the top. Like, I think I enjoyed them a little more than you did.
You did.
But I can see where, just kind of like these guys are just kind of there to see different clones, or hey, clones weren't always just what we see with Rex and Cody and all that. So I was a little bit hesitant, watching Bad Batch. I tried not to get my hopes up too high.
Yeah.
But I've been pleasantly surprised. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it a lot better than I thought. I don't love how they look. I hate how Hunter looks, because he's just he's just like Rambo.
Yeah.
I was talking to my buddy Cameron, who actually wrote the music for our episode. Thank you, Cameron. But he's like, yeah, I really hate the Rambo guy, and I was like, yeah, I guess he is just exactly Rambo. Weird. So
if he didn't have the face paint, it'd be okay.
Yep. It's the fact that he's got half face paint or scarring or whatever it is, because it's
face paint, the bandana, and the long hair. It's that's just a little too much.
He just looks like Rambo.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the Bad Batch?
I think it's great. If you guys haven't seen it, obviously, go watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. If you've got 75 minutes to watch that first episode,
strap in.
It's basically half a movie.
That is true.
That's a Disney movie.
It is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Well, before we close out our show, we're going to end our show with a segment that we always will end our show with, which is a character spotlight. Okay, and this spotlight will have a name, and it'll be dedicated to the man I'm going to talk about right now. He's my favorite side character in all of Star Wars.
Really?
And when I say side character, I mean really side character, like
we're talking 3 seconds of screen time.
But he steals the show. You're right. He is the best character in Return of the Jedi.
Well,
Max fucking Rebo. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you about Max Rebo. Okay, he's an Ortlan. Okay, from the planet of Orto, and he's a popular musician and leads the Max Rebo band. Now, here's the thing I want you to imagine. Okay, Hunter? Not even imagine. You know this.
He's basically the prince of the Star Wars universe.
He is, but he's not the lead singer. He is a blue elephant man that plays a piano device. Actually, it's not even called a piano. It is called a red ball jet organ. And he plays the red ball jet organ.
Much different than a piano.
With his toes. Wow. With his toes. That's apparently what the fact told me. Max Rebo, so good at this, the band is named after him. It's not named after the lead singer.
He's a huge deal.
He's a big deal. He's so big, Hunter, that I'll have you know that he appeared in 3 episodes of the Clone Wars and 11 episodes of Star Wars Rebels.
Did he really?
As a poster for the Max Rebo band.
Wow, okay.
Max's homeworld Orto is so cold that the natives had to consume large amounts of food to maintain their blubber in order to keep warm.
That's important.
Thirdly, I guess, he's got a brother. Did you know this?
I didn't know.
He's got a brother named Azul Fantelli. During the reign of the Galactic Empire, Fantelli once swindled several of the inhabitants of Mos Eisley Spaceport. He's a swindler and a dealer on the planet of Tatooine. After the victims mistook him for his brother, the musician, Valentini had to rescue Rebo. Jabba the Hutt punished Azul by forcing him to be a waiter.
Wow.
On his barge. Wow. Yep. Sad life.
His name nowhere near as cool as Max Rebo.
No, Max Rebo way better.
Yeah.
Max Rebo. And henceforth, because he's the first character we talked about, he's one of my favorites. This segment will now be called the Max Rebo Character Spotlight Around the Galaxy.
That's a big name. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Well, when you got to end the show, that's how you got to end the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Max Rebo. Any comments on Max Rebo? You want to talk about Max Rebo at all? Or?
You know what? I don't think I love him nearly as much as you do.
Who does? Can I tell you why I actually really love Max Rebo? This is very honest.
He looks like just a shitty Walmart version Beanie Baby.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. My reason that I love Max Rebo so much is I think it's what's so great about Star Wars, especially the original trilogy. But even watching, we watched episode 1 recently and had a lot of this. It's the side stuff that you see that makes Star Wars feel grounded.
Oh, totally. It's that world building that they, it's normal. It's there.
Yeah. It's the cantina, but it's smaller. For me as a kid, for some reason, I loved this blue elephant man that played a piano. And he stole the scenes of Jabba the Hutt's palace. And that's what I think is so cool about just Star Wars in general is the filling, the extra.
What's cool about it is because you can tell that people are thinking about hey, what can we put in the background that's is going to be out there, but we're going to make it make sense. Mm-hmm. And somebody had to think of Max Rebo.
Yeah.
Playing this piano, this organ with his feet.
I know.
Blue Elephant,
Blue Elephant, and it's his band.
It's cool.
He plays the red ball organ, and it's his band.
He's not even singing.
No, they have 2 lead singers.
Yeah.
They rap.
They do.
Only in the special editions, though, because That's Max Rebo. That's Max Rebo's Character Spotlight Around the Galaxy.
Still a mouthful.
Thank you so much for watching the first episode of the Dagoboys. We will be back, probably not every week, but throughout.
Yeah.
And we'll come in, we'll talk about episodes of The Bad Batch, we'll talk about big Star Wars topics. anything you need. If you like it, please remember to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And check out the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, available Mondays on YouTube and Spotify. And we'll see you around.
But make sure you watch this more than that.
Yeah. Watch this twice.